Tipping the scales at only 3,095 pounds, the very family-friendly little 174 BH Flight by Jayco landing here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan, packed full of a bunch of little and easily missed best-in-class qualities, such as the best-in-class warranty, water heater, and a few other things that don't begin with a W. But if you're looking at it, it might physically look a little different than it did previous years, and that's because they've increased the interior height of these a little bit. They used to have a 6'1" interior, which felt a little claustrophobic to some folks. Jayco has, I will actually say, finally, I'm very happy to see this update because I can stand in the shower now, a 6.5 foot interior height, which I think is a little bit overdue, and I'm real glad to see it happen. And folks, I tell you, I've been ducking in these little J-Flight SLXs for years as a 6'2", 6'3" guy. When they had a 6'1" ceiling panel, you could do the math and figure out very quickly. I didn't always fit very well in here. And this is nice. So they've got a full 6.5 foot interior height now. Again, like a Cherokee, a Wildwood, a Catalina. It was one of those areas that even Jayco says, yeah, we were a little behind the 8 ball on that one. But it doesn't matter where they were, because they're here right now. And where they are is in good shape. They are doing some really right and tight things in the little camper segment. But really, they haven't changed much. They've just really kind of just touched, just little nudges here and there on a couple little things. Over here, what you'll find is the cross breeze windows across from that 80-inch, by the way, bed. This is a full 80-inch long bed, so that a tall person like me, not only can I now finally stand in here normally, I can also lie in here normally. They don't do like a little headboard job like, say, the Wolf Pup does. So the Wolf Pup's on a Camp Queen. This is on a full 80-inch long queen, but it does sacrifice the headboard, which is very useful. Not everybody's as tall as me. And little variances like that. That's why we carry different models here at Haylett RV. They're all really good in different ways, and there is no like one best thing. They're all really good at different things, and that's why we have so many different offerings at Haylett RV. Those blackout shades doing a lovely job of really giving us good privacy here, and that in conjunction with the tinted windows will really keep the sunshine out of this thing on a screaming hot kind of day. Now there is storage below that bed, more obviously accessible from the exterior, although you can see there's a big full overhead cabinet up top too. I want to crack this open so you can kind of see that is not just the idea of a cabinet. That's legit storage. It passes all the way through to both sides here. So you can really stuff that thing pretty darn full. And what's nice is it's not just a shelf. So like, shelf is fine because you can put like little cube organizers on them, but not for travel. You have to like strap them down or take them down. A cabinet you can just leave packed up, which is nice. That is an 8,000 BTU side mount air. So since it is a side mount AC unit, that means that it doesn't have the overall exterior height that some other single axle campers could have. It'll be a little bit shorter, a little easier for getting into some kind of garage doors. Now obviously you can see there is a privacy curtain for the front bed here. That is one of those little details Jayco does very well that some brands do not. It's a bunch of little things that kind of separate them. And you can see here, this is new for this year. They are now wired for roof solar. So there is a plug on the roof that looks like this, where if you want to install a solar panel of some variety, you can. If you do that, you're going to need a charge controller, and it would actually install behind the privacy curtain back here. And that privacy curtain you can get out of the way if you just unlatch it real quick. But for our purposes today, I don't know that there's really a whole lot of need. Entertainment. We'll talk about TV stuff in a minute. Over here's our Bluetooth CD, or nope, not CD. That's old stuff, Josh. Sorry. Bluetooth stereo system with HDMI input so that you have an expandable entertainment kind of setup. And speaking of cabinets, let's go ahead and crack those open. And on the way down, we'll also get a look at this dinette in sleeper mode so that you can see that'll give you up to a 5th person sleeping capacity before you have to do something really drastic like throw a sleeping bag on the floor, which really ain't that drastic, I suppose. I don't know why I said drastic. Stuff just, guys, you ever see The Office? You ever watch Michael Scott? And he says, sometimes I just start a sentence without knowing where it's going to go, and I just hope that it finds its way there, or something along those lines. That's sort of how I do these videos. I just sort of like let it happen, and sometimes it's great, and then sometimes it's really stupid, which is great in a different way, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, There's some different fabric decors available. They change throughout the year. This is just what one of these happens to look like. They're all pretty neutral though, so I don't get too much into the different fabric decors. And there is no farmhouse offered in these little SLXs. I do want to point out though, end of this bench you see, this is where your furnace is located. And over here, that's our converter kind of fuse box panel. But under the table, which I love the fact that it's not a dinette like post, that is going to hit your knees. That table leg folds down to get out of the way. And since the table secures against the wall, it's very steady. Like it can't really go anywhere, so you don't have to worry about somebody bumping it and knocking all your stuff down. But what I was trying to get to, sorry, saw something shiny, were the power outlets. Easy cleaning, ventless flooring. That's pretty normal in this class. Jayco's doing their kitchens a little bit differently from a lot of guys. And there's benefits both ways. Remember, we carry lots of different products here at Haylett RV. And I want to show you what they each do in their own way because they're all, you know, cool in their own way. Starting down below here, you can see that fridge does have a freezer pocket up top. It's just enough for like some popsicles or something like that. And then we've got ourselves a nice space for a wastebasket with some big shelf space below the sink as well. And wastebasket space in a little camper like this, that is a very often missed facet of little camping. Usually they're like, hey, you just, you know, tie your Walmart bags all over everything and try not to bang your head on them, see? You know, now you don't got to worry about any of that. I don't know why they say it in that kind of insulting voice, but, you know, to each their own. Now, next to the kitchen prep space right here, you can see some easy reach outlets. And this is kind of taking the role of our master control panel. And if you are so inclined, your TV hookups are right here. This is probably where you would mount that. Now, this is a little camper. Not everybody even cares about a TV in a basic series camper like this. But if you are so inclined, basically there's studs roughly every 16 inches on center here that you could tap into. Now, a really standout quality in these little campers, Catalina does the same thing, is pocket screwed cabinetry as opposed to just staple cabinets. It basically has the exact same cabinet materials, it's just the fasteners a little bit different, and they are using hardwood cabinet door frames as well. Although that flat panel insert, I don't know, I think it looks pretty darn good. But this is great. It is true, other brands like, you know, the Cherokees, the Wildwoods, the Catalinas that we offer here at Haylett RV, they have bigger refrigerators. And I hope you appreciate the fact that I'm perfectly willing to acknowledge different things like that. There's areas where every brand of RV is better than or different than something else out there. Where Jayco separated itself is they have maintained that full big pantry space over here that most brands just don't give us anymore. So, you know, every brand has that one thing that they do better than everybody else. And in the case of these little campers for Jayco, I think it's kitchen pantry storage is where they're really kind of, you know, shining through. Like whether it's this 174 bunkhouse or 195 couples model, they have really good kitchen pantry space for a small camper. Now don't forget up top too, you also have that kind of venting skylight. It's just going to let in some extra natural light, but you can open that along with the windows and fans and everything to get some really good cross breeze kind of action. Now, typical Jayco doing Jayco things, every bunk is rated for at least 300 pounds, which is nice. There's lights for each individual bed. If I get far enough around the corner. Wait, oh, it's up top on the ceiling. I'm an idiot. Anyway, grab handle here to help get to the upper bed. A ladder is an easy thing for us to handle. Like if you're like, I really want a ladder, call our team here at Haylett RV. If the only thing you need to go camping in this RV is just a ladder, folks, that's easy stuff. Now, even though this is the simplest, smallest, most basicest Jayco there is, they still have a locking door. It's a nice little detail. Just touch little things. Now, there's plenty of legroom around the toilet, even for a bigger person like me. And you can see they're still doing tubs here. Some brands are doing tubs. Some are doing showers. I recently talked in Cherokee how they're doing what I'm calling a schlub shower tub thing. Everybody says, oh, I love the tub, or I love the shower, or I'd love something in between. Well, the only way I can offer something for everybody is if I have all these different things here at Haylett RV, which obviously we do. Now you can see big, extra large skylight right there. And that mirror, that is something that is very handy, because before you go out and see the neighbors, you can do your hair toss and check your nails and tell me, baby, how you feeling? Sorry, my daughter was listening to a lot of Lizzo this weekend, so I got this little earworm stuck in my head. Enjoy the reference. Back outside, starting in the outside storage compartment below that bed there, you see there's a nice big chunk of space. That's going to be very handy. I tell you, a very effective way to utilize that space is to get some, you know, thin, not too tall kind of totes, some big flat totes that you can load up with stuff and kind of slide in and out easily. You could probably, if depending on the height of them, still, you know, some folding chairs, stack them above that, something like that. You've got that front window up there, obviously letting in some light from the inside, but tinted on the outside to give you some privacy and to keep the sun from cooking you to death. The nice thing there, that's one of those qualities that you don't always find. Like, I might actually put together some kind of little Jayflight SLX versus Wolf Pup comparisons, because they both do things the other does not. And those tinted windows right there, that's something that the Jayco does at a, you know, well, you can get the tinted windows on a Wolf Pup in Black Label, but you have to ding the price tag to do it, whereas Jayco does it without dinging the price tag. So they each spend their money different ways, but overall I think they're very, very good head-to-head counterparts to one another. Little things like if you look up at that tongue jack, you see it's actually got a wheel on the tongue jack up there. This is small enough that a lot of people, especially with no roof air, with that 8,000 BTU side mount AC unit, will probably want to, like, or maybe be able to just park this in a garage or a small barn or something like that. Help keep it out of the weather, make it easier to take care of long term. Not to mention, you don't really have to contend with like branches overhead or anything like that now. The tires over here, this is another best-in-class quality. I told you some of them don't begin with a W. But we've got 87-mile-an-hour rated Goodyear tires. You know why they're not 88-mile-an-hour rated? Because as we learned from Marty and Doc Brown, that is the point at which the flux capacitor will engage and initiate the experience of time travel. And unfortunately, Goodyear endurance radials are not time travel certified. They are, however, rated to go faster than any other tires used in the towable RV industry. That being said, I don't want you towing at 87 miles an hour. I'm just saying that's what these tires are rated for. And being overdone like that is a Jayco doing Jayco thing, like that galvanized steel wheel well, just to help protect you in the unfortunate event of a blowout. Now, I mentioned best-in-class water heater. What's so darn different about it? It's a 6-gallon vessel. Isn't that just like every other 6-gallon vessel water heater? And I'm glad you asked that person who didn't ask that. The answer is no! Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking about it, right? The difference there is this is a gas and electric auto ignition fast recharge water heater. It's not gas only manual ignition like you often find in this class. See, in this classification, very often, first-time RV owners are the ones doing the purchasing. So most RV brands will not spend money where a person cannot see it. And Jayco's never really been that kind of company. They don't know how to do cheap, basic, and entry-level well. They only know how to do everything you do and then some, you know, when they compare against other RV brands. Like their JaySMART Safety Lighting. That is something that a person who is buying a camper like this, a first-timer, probably isn't aware of or doesn't appreciate. But regardless, you will still enjoy the benefit of it because you don't have to know how to use it. It just works. So you see how there's extra marker lights at the top of the RV on each of those rear corners? And then in the tail lights, you have these white LED elements. Well, JaySMART Lighting stands for signals, markers, and reverse travel. So what that means is when you flip on your turn signal, say over here on the right side, instead of just the tail light blinking, all of the lights on this side of the camper and those extra upper lights will blink along with it so that other people on the road have a better, clearer understanding of your intentions. Not to mention the lights for backing up into a site are handy, as well as letting other people know, like if some yahoo parks in front of you at a gas station, it is really nice to let other people know, hey, I'm backing a trailer up, I don't have the greatest of visibility, maybe, you know, give me a little bit of leeway here. There's a lot of little benefits to that. Still including a full tubular bumper for things like the Stinky Slinky, which is a handy item. The spare tire over here, not optional on a Jayco as it is in a lot of brands. That also being a full Goodyear Endurance radial, also having that slip cover. And along with the JaySMART lighting, all exterior, well, and interior lighting, it's all LED. We've got our power awning over here with easy tilt arms, LED lighting below the awning as well. And you might notice the speakers are built right into the awning arms themselves. I like to point that out because most of the time, if you're going to be listening to outside speakers, you're probably going to have the awning open. And when you have the awning open, those speakers will point down instead of pointing at the neighbors and blowing them away, because nobody likes that. Have you ever noticed every RV neighbor you've ever parked next to has the worst taste in music, but yours is awesome? Well, Jayco knows, kind of like Pepperidge Farm remembers, you know, and they make sure you're not going to blow the neighbors away with your taste in music, because unfortunately your neighbors seem to lack taste in music and don't realize how good your music is. I think you get the idea. I've beaten that horse to death a few times now. So if you like what you see here, I've given you a good overview. If you want to learn a little bit more about it, all you got to do is give our team here at Haylet RV a call. And we do it all: hitching, pieces, parts, trades, finance, RV delivery, and everything in between. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy Haylet camping, everyone.